Chapter 3, Viewing and Zooming. This chapter covers all of the viewing tools available in MicroStation and Power Geopack, including view windows, view preferences, view groups, view controls, saved views, and dynamic views. As the drawing becomes more and more complex, it may be useful to open multiple view windows. MicroStation can have as many as 8 drawing view windows open at one time. Opening multiple view windows allows users to focus on details as well as an overview of the design without getting lost in between. The view currently being worked on is known as the active view and indicated by a highlighted title bar. As you can see, I have 2 views open. This one has a highlighted title bar. This is the active view. A view window in MicroStation is commonly referred to as a view. Each view functions independently without affecting other views. They contain their own attribute settings with independent zoom, pan, and rotate capabilities. Each can be resized and relocated independently by clicking and dragging the cursor at any edge of the view or on the title bar. View windows can be arranged manually or by automated tools found under the MicroStation menu under the option Window. As you can see, the window menu allows you to toggle on and off the 8 views, as well as arrange them within the screen. Just a few options here that are displayed in the Preferences dialog. The Show View toolbox toggles on and off this toolbox that's at the top of the view window. Each view window has a view toolbox. You can toggle that on and off here, and also set what part of the view that toolbox appears in, whether it's the top, bottom, left, or right. You can toggle on and off scroll bars. By default, those are off. You can change the background from black to white. There's also options to change the background colors and the highlight colors depending on what model. A view group is a named collection of 8 view windows which allows for the setup of the desktop to display preferences including number of open view windows, window size, and view orientation. Each view group is associated with a model, making it easy to access and navigate through different models in the active DGN file. The View Groups dialog provides for this navigation capability and is accessed through the MicroStation menu option, Window, Views, Dialog. You see that it's currently toggled on and docked to the bottom of the screen. The View Groups toolbar is now the View Groups toolbox. The Previous Model button accesses the previous model from the session history. You can also access a list by clicking down on the arrow. The Next Model button accesses the next model in the session history if you've gone back a model, or alternatively you can click the drop-down list. The All Models Visited button, by clicking down, the arrow displays a drop-down list of all models accessed from which a model can be selected to open. And this is the View Groups drop-down list, and it displays the name of the view group as well as the model in which it's associated. As you can see, I currently only have 1 view group stored in this file. Manage View Groups creates, manages, edits, and deletes view groups. MicroStation allows an unlimited number of view groups to be saved. When users create a model, they are prompted to create a view group associated with that model by populating the Create a View Group checkbox in the model dialog. We'll talk more about models later. This is the Manage View Groups dialog. Create View Group opens the Create View Group dialog to specify a name and description for a new view group. Edit View Group Properties does exactly that. It opens the View Group Properties dialog to edit the name and description of the selected view group. Delete View Group deletes the currently selected view group. This is the list box, which displays a complete list of all the view groups for all models in the design file. The active view group is highlighted in green. The Apply button applies the selected view group to MicroStation, opens the views in that view group, and activates the model associated with the view group. And of course, the Close button dismisses the dialog. Let's talk about the view controls. The view controls are located at the top of the view window in the View Controls toolbar. The View Attributes opens the View Attributes dialog to adjust view attribute settings. You can click on the button to open it as a dialog, or alternatively access it as a quick dialog by clicking the down arrow. View Display Mode sets the View Display Mode from the list of display styles or from the Display Styles dialog. Those display styles are stored in a library that is delivered with the FDOT SS4 software. Adjust View Brightness applies scene lighting to the view to adjust brightness of shaded views. Update View refreshes or redraws the current view to display elements correctly. So if something may have changed in the display, for whatever reason, this refreshes the view. Zoom In provides you with a zoom in box. Zoom Out zooms out. Window Area gives you a marquee zoom. Fit View fits the entire design in the view, within the boundaries of the view. Rotate View allows you to rotate the view by a number of different methods. The pan button does the same thing that I have my mouse wheel set to. So when I click down on the mouse wheel, I can pan the view, or I can use this pan tool. So I'm not sure if you've had your mouse wheel set up to pan the view, you may not really need to use that tool. View Previous takes you to the previous view settings. It's like an undo or redo specifically for views. So whereas undo and redo apply to tools and actions in MicroStation powered Geopack, the previous and next view is sort of the undo redo of just viewing. So if you've rotated the view and you do previous view, it'll unrotate it, or it'll rotate it back to the previous position. Copy View allows you to copy the view from one view to another. Apply or modify clip volume opens the clip volume toolbox and applies a clip volume to a view. And of course, clip mask applies a clip mask to a view. We won't be talking too much about those tools. The View Attributes dialog contains a series of toggles that allow users to set view attributes that affect whether and how certain types and classes of elements are displayed and whether certain drawing aids are displayed. Each view can have its own view attribute settings, and the view number at the top of the View Attributes dialog determines which view window the settings are applied to when the Apply to Selected View button is selected. Selecting the Apply to Open Views button applies the current settings to all open view windows. So you see you can select what view to apply to, and you can also apply to all open views, or just apply to the selected view. The View Attributes dialog can be invoked by one of the following methods. Type the key combination Control-B. You can go to MicroStation menu, Settings, View Attributes, or just like I accessed it, you can access it from the top corner of your view window. The toggle options on the View Attributes dialog include ACS Triad. If it's on, a coordinate triad representing the active auxiliary coordinate system displays. That's that, the X, Y arrows. The background toggle, if toggled on, the background displays if there is a background. Boundary display controls whether the boundaries of the clip volume are displayed for a given view, as well as reference clip boundaries. Camera, if on, the view camera is on for the view. This applies to 3D designs only. This control is disabled or dimmed if the active DGN file is 2D. We are in a 2D file. Clip back toggles the display of elements and parts of elements located outside of a 3D view's clipping plane. If on, back clipping plane is active in a view. Obviously, this is a 2D file. Clip front enables toggling the display of elements and parts of elements located outside a 3D view's clipping planes if on a front clipping plane is active in a view. Clip volume toggles the display of elements and parts of elements located outside of a defined clip volume for a given view. If on and a clip volume has been applied to the view volume is restricted to the defined volume. If no clip volume has been applied to the view, it has no effect. Of course, I have no clip volume that's been applied. Constructions. If on construction elements, which is to say those with the class attribute of construction display, constructions are typically turned off in a view before plotting or rendering. We do have a certain number of construction levels in the F.SS4 workspace. So this controls whether those display. Typically the construction elements are non-plotting elements, so they would not plot regardless of whether they are turned on in the view. Dimensions. If on dimension elements display, turning dimensions off can increase view update time. Or alternatively, if dimensions are getting in the way of you seeing other elements that you'd like to try to manipulate or draw, you can turn the dimensions off. Data fields. If on enter data fields are displayed, you'll notice those in the title blocks of our sheet borders. Display set. If on, display of elements is restricted to only those elements in the current display set. Fast cells. If on, cells display as outlines. Turning fast cells on decreases view update time. This is something that you probably won't use. It does reduce your cells to simple lines, and we really don't have a problem with cells slowing things down. Fill. If on, solid closed elements with the fill type of none or opaque and text characters in a filled font display with a filled color. So if you have a filled shape, this will display as filled, and that'll display as just the outline of the shape. Grid toggles the grid in the background. Level overrides toggles the level overrides. That's the way that the levels display their symbology. We'll talk more about what level overrides are later on. Line styles. If on, elements display with their custom line style if they have one. If off, all elements with custom line styles display with a standard solid line of 0. Turning line styles off can decrease view update time. That's not necessarily too much of a problem in our workspace currently with the way the workspace runs, but it used to be a lot more of a big deal back in the day. Patterns. If on, pattern elements display, turning patterns off can decrease view update time. That's actually fairly true if you have a very, very complex, dense pattern. Tags. If on, tags display in the selected views. You can toggle on and off the text as well as text nodes. We'll talk a little bit about text nodes later on. And transparency, whether or not elements are transparent or just appear opaque. This can be toggled on and off. You may use some transparency in your printing, and this is if you want it to print transparent but you don't necessarily want to see it transparent on the screen, you can toggle that on and off. Okay, the view setup portion of the dialog. The saved views allows the recall of a saved predefined view definition to a destination view window and allows use of selected attributes in the saved view. Models displays the name of the model to which the settings are applied. I'm going to open up the saved views dialog. You'll see I do not currently have any saved views in this file, but we will be creating some saved views later on. So, saved views. MicroStation allows users to save views for easy retrieval at a later time. A saved view stores the area of the design shown in the view window proportions, and location, levels displayed, view attributes, and reference settings. So it's a little snapshot of what you were working on at that time. Saved views in the active design file is a drop-down list displaying the saved views in the active design file. Of course, I don't have any saved in this, but of course you see it displays, it looks like Project Explorer. Create saved view does exactly what it says. It creates a saved view. It opens up a dialog so you can apply a name and description to the view that you are saving. Update saved view settings updates a saved view to include changes to the settings. For example, the levels or view attributes can be modified for a saved view. Then use this icon to save the view changes. Apply saved view does exactly what it says. It applies the saved view. Edit saved view properties opens the edit properties dialog. You can change the name and description of the saved view. Delete saved view allows you to delete the selected saved view. Import saved view opens the open file dialog, which is used to select the file that has the saved views to import into the active file. Once a file has been selected, the import saved views dialog opens to import the saved views from another file. If no saved views are found to import, an error displays in the status bar. Update from library updates the saved view in the DGN file to reflect changes in the configured DGN library. What this does is it allows you to configure your workspace with a DGN library in the workspace configuration that contains saved views, so you can access those saved views regardless of what drawing you're working with. And the list filter button, which if on displays a filter row in the list box that allows for the defining of any column. So let's talk about dynamic views just briefly. Dynamic views is a general name that encompasses several related technologies which share a common goal of making model analysis and documentation more interactive and intuitive. One of these technologies allows clipping of models and generation of sections on the fly. Cross-section views, detail views, and elevations are types of dynamic views. Dynamic views have the ability to create live, intelligent sections, cross-sections, of design composition that update automatically as the design evolves. This won't be discussed too much in this book at all, in this course, but you've probably seen the dynamic cross-section view or the profile view that was new to the V8i software. So those are dynamic views. That's just to say that that exists as a view type. From the view controls, click the Window Area tool to zoom in to the first intersection from the left. Open the Saved Views dialog by selecting one of the following. From the MicroStation menu, Utilities, Saved Views, or from the Primary Tools toolbar, Saved Views. The Saved Views dialog appears. From the Saved Views dialog, select Create Saved View. Set the method to From View, the view type to Saved View, and the name First Intersection. Clip volume from view and associative clip volume. Click onto View 1 to select the source view. The Saved Views list box will update with the newly created listing. We're going to left click or, as I've said, enter a data point. Fit view and repeat this process, steps 1 through 4, to store a saved view from the second and third intersections. From the View Groups toolbox, open View 2 and View 3 by clicking on the corresponding buttons. From the Saved Views dialog, right-click on the first intersection and select Apply from the pop-out menu. Enter a data point in View 1 to accept the first intersection saved view. From the Apply Saved View dialog, change the Saved View option by selecting Second Intersection from the drop-down menu, and then enter a data point in View 2. Repeat Step 9 for the third intersection in View 3. From the View Groups toolbox, close View 2 and View 3 by clicking the numbers 2 and 3, and then maximize and fit View 1. Close the Saved Views dialog. View Groups. From the View Groups dialog, open an additional view, such as View 2. Then arrange the views like this. Here's how to create a view group. First, select Create View Group. Now, open a second view, such as View 2, and zoom in to arrange the views like this. Now, if you double-click on the previous view group and the one we created, it'll switch between the different view groups.